today's topic. Okay, so about a week ago, I would say, after 4 Americans were kidnapped and 2 of those were found killed in Mexico, the government is reportedly urging Americans to not go there, especially spring breakers. What are your thoughts? Do you think people should be afraid to go to Mexico? What do you think? Would you go? What do you think?
Well, didn't I read that they went down there for like some cheap
medical tourism,
plastic surgery,
mm-hmm.
and then they were in some town that is like very well known that it's run by one of the cartels, and it wasn't even the same town that the operation was supposed to be in. So I don't think they went there for medical tourism.
Yeah.
What
I just heard where they were at to begin with. They were always on the travel threat severity was it's always been at a medium, and it's been or maybe it was even higher or something like that. But like supposedly it's been a well-known thing that it's a kind of a dangerous area.
And then the cartel apologized. And then they turned in 5 other people too.
Yeah, they turned in the people that were responsible, and they apologized. They're like, "Hey, these guys are acting on their own. This was not us telling them to do this." Pretty much avoiding because they don't want the U.S. to go in there and clear them all out. But
yeah, I wouldn't go personally.
You wouldn't go
anywhere in Mexico or for there?
We're headed to Cancun in June.
I was like, I'd probably anywhere. I'm like, it just seems like a risk that doesn't need to be taken.
Well, I think it's really hard to gauge that risk. Bad things happen around here too.
Yeah.
And you I have a hard time getting the actual information of say how many tourists go on a daily basis, like a monthly basis, to Cancun, big tourist destination, and how many of those get murdered by cartels. I would say on average 0, because it makes national news whenever one does. And that same ratio of how likely you are in a car ride, which you can avoid that. You don't have to go on vacation, but a lot of everyday life, because people in St. Louis get shot and killed routinely, and people still go there.
Yeah.
And it's hard to get the actual hard data, because it does happen, and it sucks when it does. But I always try to gauge how does that risk comply with other risks we take every single day.
Yeah.
So TSA's advisory, they have a whole thing, and they break it down Mexico by their state. Mexico states like we do. Cancun doesn't fall anywhere in there.
It is to exercise increased caution, especially while traveling to the resort.
There's a do not travel, and it'll tell you why. And it's always crime and kidnapping. And then they say, maybe you should reconsider this. And then, increased caution. Exercise increased caution. But Cancun doesn't fall anywhere there. But that's little America. Don't they say that everywhere?
Yeah.
But, I mean, there's always going to be... I mean, it's I wonder, what our country actually falls under.
Yeah.
Well, it's I want to go to London, and I'm you might get stabbed over there, but you never know. I was going to say, everything's rare, but it's just
Yeah, so are you going to let that hinder your traveling?
No,
Not
but
either.
I don't know how I view Mexico. I'm I never hear great things for people that want to travel there, I know people that have, outside of Cancun, it's it sounds like it never goes well. I know, it reminds me of Brazil when I hear it. It's just almost all out war every time I hear it. Maybe that's media that I hear.
didn't know that medical tourism there was I hear about it some places, but my aunt and uncle, they're older, and they say they have some friends that routinely go there for dental work because it's so much cheaper. And they say it's really kind of crazy because most of the people that do the dental work there right across the border are American citizens, Americans, and operate in Mexico just across because everything is cheaper to operate and run. So and they say the people they know, they're once a year for dental work and all this stuff, that they park and then they walk across the border, right across which was surprisingly, I didn't know it was such an industry there. Just
Where'd they go?
I'm not sure exactly. I don't know what state they walk across. There's only a couple to pick from.
Because there's only because my youngest lived in Mexico for 5 months.
Yeah.
And it's El Paso, Texas, and Juarez, Mexico, and it's 9 minutes. 9 minutes between the big cities. So it's here, East St. Louis, St. Louis. You cross a bridge.
Yeah.
And literally, you walk back and forth. People do it all the time.
Yeah.
Well, I don't defend the cartels, but I really don't. I think they care about one exact thing and money, and they just want to eliminate the rest of that, I don't think they purposely would kill any tourist.
Yeah. Yeah, my favorite city is ever Chicago, and you hear all the time in the news about how dangerous Chicago is, but that doesn't make me afraid to want to go. Like, because I don't think about that stuff for real. Like,
It's like, yeah, you don't think about our own country.
Yeah.
You can watch our 5 o'clock news tonight and hear all about St.
Yeah.
Louis.
because like there's like because when
It's
you
it's
But
weird. It's
I've
weird
never
to
had
think
it.
about because it's like you see things just as bad in St. Louis. So.
And
Yeah.
that's why, like, you hear about it, like, it makes these incredible things of news, and it's horrible. And I feel for people that lose loved ones to that, because that's really horrible. But I don't know how likely it actually is.
yeah
Like, I feel horrible when a family dies in an interstate car accident. That's also horrible. You take a risk when you get on the road too.
yeah. Only thing I can say of is around here we have the knowledge of where to go, when not to go there, or what to avoid and stuff like that. Where when you're in another country and you're not familiar with that area, you don't have that same knowledge. You're not as well because here you have a good idea.
Here you do, but people that go to these places, you have an idea of, are you leaving the resort? Are you going to go explore like a local? Or are you going to stay on the resort where they all speak English and just bring you drinks the whole time?
Yeah.
That's a different.
It's a different world.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I would not be. That's the only argument I can see because, because I mean, crime happens anywhere. I mean, and there's people that grew up in towns or in cities like Chicago and St. Louis, where crime is high, but they'll live their whole lives not ever witness one crime.
Yeah.
It's just a chance thing, and then I feel like also a little bit of knowledge and common sense, kind of like.
I feel like there's like a feeling you get when you know whether you're in a bad situation or not.
Yeah.
And if you choose to listen to that feeling, then you might be better off than other people.
Alex didn't have any issues. She said everywhere she went, because they would go places and the local. She had no issues.
Ever feel
She never
like
felt
uncomfortable,
we-
scared stuff? No.
Yeah.
And she even did some maybe sketchy, unsketchy. She would buy burritos out of some guy's, van. She was not by herself either. What?
Why is that sketchy?
Oh, I mean, it just looks weird. It just, but it's like street vendors are common.
There's just a certain stigma about buying anything from a guy in a van.
It's just.
It's just. I don't know.
But she said it was probably the best food she's ever eaten.
It probably is. Super authentic.
Yeah. It's just kind of an interesting experience. She's glad she did it. She's glad to be home though.
Yeah.
We have, because we were talking, we're all going there, right?
Yeah.
We really wanted to do swimming with the dolphins. The kids were excited. We said we might not do that. Gonna have to see how that goes. Might not leave the resort. So there's some of that, maybe mitigating. This is the more risky behavior. Let's maybe just say we're at the less risky behavior.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I agree with the increased caution part of the warning. I feel like that's smart. I mean, be aware of your surroundings and do your part to kind of protect yourself. I feel like that's should go without being said. But like I said, though, I'm not really scared to go. You know what I'm saying? I
guess I go to Cancun.
Yeah, you're not even going to Mexico. You're not driving through the countryside or.
I was gonna say. You bring it up as the thing
People
that
do
happened,
though.
and people talk about they'll get pulled over by a cartel, and then they'll get roughed up, and it's like if you're driving a truck, you might lose a truck.
Look, I mean, you've been to other countries where it's scary to sit in the cars sometimes, and that's not because you're afraid that something's going to happen. You're just afraid you're not going to make it out of that car because they drive crazy.
The most scared I ever was in my entire life was in Baltimore, Maryland. Downtown Baltimore, Maryland. I felt like we were either going to get shot, mugged, carjacked, any version of that. You see guys literally walking with bulletproof vests and semi-automatic weapons, and you could tell they were not legit people that should be walking around with them.
Wow.
Because they looked like they were 12. It was very, very, very scary.
Yeah.
You get a different impression in Mexico because you travel through these between Cancun, right, touristy areas. There's only a 10-minute drive from the airport to the resorts, and these checkpoints where you see cops just strapped down with these huge I don't know guns very well, but automatic type weapons,
Oh, wow.
and you don't see that here much in the States.
Yeah.
Like 8 guys with huge weapons just at like a checkpoint on the highway.
Wow.
It's weird to think about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have never been out of the country, so this would be my, my first time. I'm so excited for it.
I got clothes. Padre Island.
But yeah, I don't know. Back to I'm not really. I think it's interesting, but like I'm not, like I said, I'm not worried.
I'm not worried either.
Yeah, I don't feel like I'm gonna put myself in any kind of danger that I would be worried, so I'm okay.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with
I'm
traveling.
leaning towards
Yeah,
that one.
like I'm okay
Yeah.
with traveling.
Yeah.
Like we went to London recently, and that was kind of like, even then, like your brother said something you can. And I'm like, yeah, it's because it's pickpocketing, so you kind of just like a little bit more. Like a lot of people,
Yeah.
you're gonna have that, but I never felt
Yeah.
unsafe or threatened. All they have is knife threats. They seriously do.
Yeah.
That's what their gangs carry.
Oh.
But
All right. So we're all still good for going to Mexico.
I am,
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good.
I guess I have the same thought. Like, I don't